This is Visionary New Earth Leaders Podcast with me, Jenny Lyon, empowering visionary healers, entrepreneurs and leaders ready to actualize their fullest potential by expanding their consciousness and embodying 5D leadership and blending cutting-edge energy tools with business innovation and strategy to create impact and raise the world's vibration. I'm your host, Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson, and I am a New Earth business mentor, a channel and master healer. I'm also the leader of my own business. I have 23 plus years experience in energy work, mentorship and coaching. I'm a married mother of 2 based outside London in the UK. If you're ready to step into New Earth leadership and 5D consciousness, this is the channel to tune into and learn about embodied New Earth leadership, the power of self, energetic solutions to leadership, spiritual entrepreneurship, and joyful feminine creation. This is the vortex supporting the leaders into the new earth. Hello and welcome to the next episode of Visionary New Earth Leaders. So we are right in the middle of the leadership archetypes, 7 of them that I've decided to talk about in this podcast. So today we are talking about the 3rd archetype, which is the Powerhouse, and in its negative connotation, the Dictator. And this is the number 9 in the soul contract. So that's Tes in Hebrew. So let's dive in I love the 9 so much because it has actually helped me to work through so much of my own disempowerment patterns, my own lack of belief, lots of those sort of patterns that kept me stuck and kept me small and not visible and all those things for many, many, many years, So when I optimized my name to Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson, which is my name by deed poll, I have 2 sets of 9s in my soul contract. So I have them in a talent position now. So physical talents and spiritual talents. So let's dive in. For you who are familiar with the soul contract, you know what this means. When I said that, I'm going to explain a little bit about it, what happens when you optimize your name and how you can harness then the number energies, of the number that you desire and use it for the goals that you are working towards, in your life and in your business. So it's like an emphasizing a tool to help you achieve your goals and work towards what it is you're working towards. So let's dive in. So I have a very fond connection with the 9. The 9 is, if you look at the symbol of the 9, it looks like a serpent. It looks like a dragon, a snake. And it is really connected with great power. And it is great power from a place of deep grounding, deep sense of self, like deep sense of knowing, deep sense of being connected to God source, deep sense of, being actually in service as well. So a dictator, for example, is not in service, they're only in service for themselves. So that's like the karmic number or the karmic energy of the 9. But I'm going to go through them with you so that you understand what they mean. So I'm going to tell you a little story first, and then I'm going to explain. So basically, my name was Jenny Andersson. That's my common use name in Sweden, and that was my name. When I moved to the UK in 1998, I became Jenny Anderson. And then in 2010, when I optimized my name to Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson, that was when I had I think I'd done level 3 in soul contract, and I or level 2. I was convinced that I wanted to change my name, and one of the things that I really wanted to work through was my karmic, spiritual karma 10-1, which kept me stuck, it kept me in disempowerment. It kept me, we've talked about the 10-1 already in this series. It kept me sort of, hidden. It kept me like I didn't want to, I didn't want to speak up. I wanted to stay small. I was very self-critical, all those things. But the 10-1 in its full-flown beauty is somebody who is in full service, a channel, somebody who brings, source energy through them, literally. And I knew I had that ability. So I took the 9 and I have it in my spiritual talent, which means that energy then goes into my birth name and it starts to dissolve the 10-1. And that's actually what I wanted. I wanted other things as well, but I'll just talk about the 9 and the 10-1 today in this sort of context. So I wanted to become fully in service. I wanted to stop doubting myself. I wanted to completely surrender into the service soul that I am without any of my doubts and ego programming and things like that. So I took help of the 9, and that really, within sort of 3 weeks, it was just a huge shift, a huge change. And when you optimize your name, if you ever think of doing it, we also do a name alignment process, which happens once you optimize the name. You also do a name alignment process so that you can speed up the new imprint of the new name, so that you get the positive aspects of it quicker than if you didn't do it. So that was really powerful for me. And I'm never going to change my name. I'm going to use the 9s for the purposes of what I need them for, which is leadership and bringing everything down here into earth in the 3D format, from a 5D perspective, help change the world, and help other leaders to activate and step into their greatest power so that they can go and do what they came to do here this lifetime, what they're incarnated for, really. So I'm very committed to the journey. But let's talk about the optimistic, or the positive side of the powerhouse. So the 9 is when it's in its pure energy and its absolute, invincible, steely power of God, really. It has these dragon energies of great power that is expressed with integrity. And this is the part which a powerhouse will have integrity, because they're there to power through, but also to shine light on others. Somebody who has integrity will always walk with others. They won't think of themselves as superior or inferior, actually. A powerhouse in its true, the 9 in its true glory, is somebody who walks with other leaders, somebody who is a catalyst, somebody who is, walks in great integrity, and also the energies of the star sign Leo. So it's like very powerful, creative, warm, generous, and also organized. And that is a great characteristic of a powerhouse leader. Somebody with 9s will have those. I think I've also even experienced it from my clients. They say, Jenny, you have this ability to activate me, but yet when we are inside your containers, you're very soft, loving, supportive, very sort of gentle with us. And I think, I'm not saying I'm the perfect example of the 9, but I think when you harness the 9 energies in this way, they become super, super activating and super powerful for the people who join and then come with you, because you have that gentleness, the soft, the loving. I also got some 13-4s, but generous, organized, really one want the best, for the people that come and join you. The 9 is also being a catalyst of transformation for self and others. And it has peacemaking energies, because the 9 is, another sort of God source energy. So the 10-1 is also a very sort of godly energy, if you like. But the 9 is like this power, the steely power of God, access to, pure source energy. And, it's got great strength and stability. And I think that is very needed, not just in leadership, but I think is needed for transformation of this earth, of this planet. It also has the ability to channel universal energies from source. So it's a great channel. So somebody with 9s, they are often healers, facilitators for change. They have great power to lead, to catalyze, to bring people to a higher level of performance, or fulfillment, or whatever the potential that whatever that is that the people are looking to achieve. And the 9 also has a great strength and belief in self. And this was another thing, I used to, with my 10-1, I used to feel like, I wasn't good enough. I was self-critical. I used to worry what other people think of me, typical imposter syndrome, all those things. As soon as I brought the 9s into my life, everything changed. I no longer, I don't get affected. I really do not get affected by trolls, what other people think, what other people's opinions are, but not in an arrogant way, more like, it's okay. It's really like a non-attachment. And this sort of non-attachment that I am so sovereign, just walking my own path, really minding my own business, is the most freeing, catalyzing, empowering way to live. That's the gift. That was my gift in this, or the gift I received. And I never thought I would ever be operating from that level, or ever live like that. I never thought that was possible for me. And I think that was the greatest gift of all. The greatest gift of all was the sovereignty, the knowing that I'm good enough, the knowing that I don't need to look over my shoulder, or the knowing that I don't need to worry about other people think, because I know that I'm good enough. I know that I'm, everything that I bring to the table is really good, and I don't need to worry. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that feeling. And I don't know, that I didn't think that was possible before I had my 9s. So the great strength and belief in self was an absolute game changer for me with the 10-1s. I also have a 10-1 in Soul Destiny. So yeah, it has greatly, greatly helped me. Now, the other thing I wanted to say as well is the 9 brings you great channeling abilities. But it also really brings through that I know that I'm protected. I know that I am whole. I know that I am, really connected to universal flow, the source, all those. It's just, I don't know. I don't even have words for it. It's like, I know that I am part of source. Like it's just a different feeling than thinking, I'm a suffering human being, and I'm circumstances is like, my that rules my world or something. That's not how I live anymore. It's changed, and this is available to everyone. This type of energy, this type of living, being, breathing is available to every single human on earth. It really is. And you can connect with that. You can tap into that energy and be that. So the next thing is knowing that, knowing truth. So it's like, if somebody presents me with something, or I see a post, or I read an article, or I just listen to something, I know what truth is. It's like I just know if it's altered, I know if it is fake, I know if it is been written or done by someone else, or it's just like I just know the truth. And also no judgment again, because it's not like I'm judging where I think, oh, there's a lack of truth there. I'm not judging. I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. There's, that's not the truth. And then I kind of move on. But having that knowing what the truth is helps me also tremendously in life and business, because I can navigate having that truth within me, knowing what to choose, what to not choose, what to join, what to not join, what to do on social media, what to not do on social media, what to say to my clients, what to not say do you know what I mean? It's like the truth is the truth. And so when you have that deep knowing of truth, nothing can change. Nothing can change that, because what else is more valuable than the truth, The next thing is knowing that as I serve, I will be served. So this is interesting because you can tie this in with servant leadership as well. I think the powerhouse could be a little bit connected to the servant leadership, which is something that people speak about in the corporate, servant leadership is really, I can see how that's connected to the powerhouse energies. The next thing is the ability to come into full soul consciousness and the invincible protection of God and the ability to hear God. So this is what all that energy of knowing who I am, knowing what is the truth, being truly connected to my center and to that, channel to source and to source energy. What else would you need? I think of this as that's why we come to Earth. It's almost like if everyone could come to Earth and access the energies of the 9, because then they know that they are God, or have God coming through them. They know that they have the power to create what they want. They are creators. They have great integrity and love and, great intention with service for humanity. I mean, come on. Like that, if that was with everyone, the 8 billion people or 9, whatever we are now, if everyone had that connection to God and that clarity, this world would be like, it would be in its 5th dimension now. We would be in 5D existence right now. It would be peace and unity everywhere, because we would know that we're not separate. We would know that we're all together. We would know that we've come here to support, grow, thrive, and create amazing living experiences here in our human bodies without the suffering. There is no suffering, If you connect to God energy, if you connect to God in this way, there is no suffering. Right? Okay, so the ability to bring high levels of truth, a great creativity and healing capabilities. So the 9 is look, what else do you need? What else do you need in the 9? So anyone who feel look, the 9 in the soul contract, I want to say this as well. So if you're experiencing any type of feelings of that you're behind, feelings that you're not good enough, feelings that you haven't got the power within you to create what you want to create, feeling like whatever, whatever it is, I highly recommend a name optimization to bring the 9s in. Now, that's not always going to be perfect for everyone. It depends on your soul contract, right? So for example, if you have 9 karmic 9s, karmic 21 3s, I'd say karmic 10 1s as well, karmic strong numbers that are, quite heavy themselves, I definitely recommend 9s for optimization. So mine was 7s in physical karma. So 7s can be so stuck, right? So the 7 was I didn't want to show my personality. I was I didn't want to show my spiritual personality, actually, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to come out of hiding. I felt like I had to be two people, Gemini lesson, all that, and then 10-1 in my spiritual karma. So by having 2 9s, one in my physical talent and then one in my spiritual talent, it just helped me so much, because I basically got a quicker result with that, and then also knowing what I know that I want to. Contribute in this world with the work that I do, I knew that the 9s were going to be, necessary to have. But just because I've got them, it doesn't mean that they are perfect for everyone, right? But what I'm saying here is that if you have a really hard stuck sort of number that is stuck in your soul contract, and you just feel, look, do you know what? I need to blow this out of the water. Yes, we need 9s. Okay. So I just thought I'd let you know. Obviously, you can book your soul contract or your soul contract immersion package on my website. So just go to work with me, and then it says soul contracts readings. You can go there and have a look. So let's talk about the Dictator. So have you ever worked for someone, or have even had someone in your life who is very control and fear orientated? They try to use their power to control and fearmonger. Obviously, we have dictators throughout the history, people like Hitler and like Stalin, dictators, proper ones that probably have got some, narcissistic personality traits as well. But if you think of the energy of somebody who is actually so insecure themselves that they have to use power and control and project that onto other people in order to be in control and in order to, sort of reign something or being in charge of something, that energy is also very, very sort of old patriarchal energy. So it's like old wounded masculine energy, the dictator. And I'm sure that it will probably exist in places and still, but I think a lot of people have also moved away from that. But I'm sure that will still exist in places, whether that is at work and your manager, or if it's a business owner who is trying to sort of bully themselves through to get success, or, I'm sure it's, of course it still exists, but I'm trying to be very sort of black and white here. There could be nuances, you could have a really good boss or somebody that is in leadership position near you, and they have little traits of this now and then, it's not like they are like that all the time, but I'm trying to give you like sort of the black and white sort of hard facts on who the dictator is and who the powerhouse is, and who they are, in their, most negative and the most positive connotation. So they also have, so in the negative connotation of, the 9, they basically have blocks to power, because if they had the true connection to power, inner power and the power of God, they wouldn't need to use the ego's sort of ways to get their way. They would just use the soul power and just lead with integrity and lead with this, connection to source. But because the blocked 9 or the dictator has got blocked power, they are using the power of the ego, the power of fear, the power of low frequency energies, basically, to get what they want. And that's because they are probably wounded themselves. They probably have had trauma and abuse, and they would have had, grown up with some awful things sometimes. Not always awful, but, awful enough to make them feel that their power is blocked. They can also be very destructive. So somebody with karmic 9s can be very, very destructive in the sense of self-destructive, actually. So it's very common, like in addiction and stuff. So often somebody with self-destructive 9s be extremely addictive to something like alcohol, sex, drugs, other things. That's just self-destructiveness, basically. And they, you could say it's sabotage, but it's almost worse than sabotage, because they literally self-destruct sometimes. I've seen people with karmic nines drinking themselves to death. I've seen people, as I know of, sort of thing, people who've got karmic nines that no matter what their body is, telling them to do, or, they're not literally hearing the body scream, and they still just go and do the destructive thing. It is really quite disturbing, actually, to watch. But so a dictator can have that as well. And they will then misuse the power and destructiveness associated with this, a shadow destroyer. It's basically shadows. It's just it's a really dark energy, actually. And we, that can be healed and transformed through, with divine healing, with the light body activations, all the beautiful work. I've helped a lot of people with karmic nines, actually, who have felt so despondent and lifeless, and then really they've stepped into their power, into their true power, which is their God power, sort of thing, which is really amazing. They will also have a mistrust in self, because the power is blocked. They will still project this kind of sort of fear and control, and if you don't do this will happen, X, Y, Z. So, and I suppose they could also be quite. It's almost like, let's say somebody with a karmic 9 who lets loose on their anger, or they're really sort of trying to control something. They can be really, their energy can be extremely destructive. Not just shouting, but they could just be really strong in their energy. It's like you get kind of scared, because it's got this shadow destroyer archetype thing in it. So it's almost like, it's not like somebody gets a bit angry. It's like, wow, they are destroying the world. Like, if they had something to destroy, they'll just burn everything, and that kind of energy is quite scary, right? So maybe you've experienced that somewhere. But yeah, so that can be healed. This is a lot of shadow work, with the people that I work with when they have 9s and it needs healing. Oh dear, we do a lot of shadow work. Like, we get in there and we really transmute those dark energies and into light, and they become light bearers, literally, which is really fantastic. But yeah, so that's really cool. They would have gone through some trauma and abuse, usually through family, in family situations, school, workplace. It could be anything from bullying to physically, emotionally abused, sexually abused. Just dark, just very just difficult. It's hard for them. It's hard. There will also be a lack of boundaries. So often somebody with karmic 9s will say yes to a lot of things which they want to say no to, because they just feel like they're not good enough. They're not in their power. They just don't want to be bullied anymore. So they will just say yes and just agree to everything. And then they kind of like burn out. There is a huge disconnection from self and inability to hear God. So although that you think with a dictator that they wouldn't have any of that, but that's what goes on within them when they're not trying to control and fearmonger other people, or, trying to sort of project what they think onto others. That's what's actually going on inside of them, which you wouldn't see. Because often we think, oh, well, they hard nut, but they're so disconnected from themselves that probably they've buried most of the things, but that's kind of then eating away on the inside for them. Which also sometimes when the 9 does not address trauma and all these things that they need to address, and they can put such really heavy pressure on their bodies, and they can often get physically very, very ill. Because the body, it's almost like they're ignoring the signals from the body, and then they are burying all that shadow destroyer and not addressing it, and then that will then start eating away, within the body. So that could be anything from the big C word to other things as well, I'm not saying that's like what happens to everyone, but I'm just saying that the body could suffer quite strong difficulties because of that, because the energies are so strong, as well. Okay, so let's just round this off. So this is the thing, right? So if you are somebody with 9s anywhere in your chart, you could access the powerhouse. Like, you could access the powerhouse for sure. And that is, something that you really want to try to do. Basically, if you are somebody who have 9s in your chart, it just means that you can access the powerhouse within you. And whether you have them in talents, or whether you have them in a karma or goal position, or even in your soul destiny, you really can access this energy. And it just means that if you feel like you are disempowered and you feel like you can't access your power, we need to then look at that and then unlock this power with coaching, mentoring, divine healing. I have some other processes that I use to help people access their 9 energy, or the God, the God energy, and just use that, to your advantage, and to be here in service, to lead in service, and to have this unwavering faith in yourself and in the people that you lead and in the people that you want to serve. So that's all from me today. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to share the podcast, and if you want to leave a review, that'd be so awesome. I'd love for you to leave a review if you love the podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Jenny Lyon's Visionary New Earth Leaders podcast. If you're ready to rewire your subconscious mind, clear your programming and collective conditioning, transform your trauma into trust, and step into your soul's calling and true leadership, or if you're ready to unlock your fullest potential through activating your light body and expand your consciousness exponentially, detangle and clear your past life karma and Akashic records, and setting up for success, launch your online spiritual business, and so much more, then go to jennylyon.love. And if you're receiving value from the show, I would love if you would share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Also, you can join me in one of my live free trainings, and you can find it right on the website, as well as in the link in my bio across all social media. I am Jenny Lyon across all platforms. I wish you a blessed day, and may you live your most authentic self.